Welcome back to the UN Two Countries Report, now reporting on Italy and Benin, Dominic Schork. We will start this report off with a brief history of both countries, starting with Italy. The ancient history goes from 700 BCE to about 400 CE. This was pre-Indo-European language and during the time of the Roman Empire until the fall. Next we have medieval history from around the fall to 1400 CE. The Italian peninsula was split into many different political entities that remained separated until the Renaissance. The Renaissance era was a time period where Italy flourished in aspects of life, including culturally, politically, and intellectually. This period lasted until around modern era, when Victor Emmanuel II united the different states of Italy into one country. Moving on to the next country, we have Benin. This can be split into two main categories, which are the pre-colonial era and colonial era. In the pre-colonial era, there were many independent states inhabiting the area of what is now modern Benin, before colonized by the French. The Ewe-speaking inhabitants from the southern part of the land were a main force. In the 16th and 17th centuries, the Alad kingdom took over. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the Dahomey took over most of the land and ruled there until the French colonized it. The colonial era starts in 1892, when the French defeated the Dahomeans. This allowed the Dahomey kingdom to be absorbed into the French colony. This colony was still called Dahomey, though, with the capital of Porto Novo. After the series of 3 Dahomey-French wars, the Dahomey gained independence. This created the Republic of Dahomey in 1960, later changed to the Republic of Benin, which is what it is currently called today. Now onto the main categories, we start off with the physical geography. Italy is considered an elongated country because of the height-to-width ratio. It is a boot-shaped peninsula, many large islands including Sicily, and the Italian Alps are in the northern part of the country, which is an example of a physical boundary. Now for Benin, it is also an elongated country located in western Africa. It is roughly 420 miles from the coast to the northern border, and the coastal land stretches 75 miles. The Niger River borders the northern part, connecting it to Niger. Next, we have the population statistics. Italy has a population around 59 million people. The total fertility rate is 1.24 births per woman. Italy's population is majority towards middle-aged. This will increase the population lowering, and the total fertility rate will decrease as time goes on when the country enters a 5th stage of the demographic transition model. Now for Benin, the population is much lower, around 14 million. The TFR is 4.2 births per woman, and most of the population is in the fertility range, which can be seen on the pyramid below, which has a large base and narrows as you go up to the top. And to add to the population, Italy has an arithmetic density of 201 people per kilometer and a physiologic density of 0.11 people per acre of arable land. The life expectancy is 83 years, and the demographic transition model is stages 4. In Benin, the arithmetic density is 131 people per kilometer, and the physiologic density is 0.6 people per acre of arable land. The life expectancy is 60 years, and the demographic transition model stages 2. Now moving on to some climate classifications, which will be useful later on in the site and situation factors. Italy is located in the temperate region, which is also somewhat in the Mediterranean region. And Benin is located in the tropical region, just underneath the northern part of Africa. The site and situation factors can be used as an explanation for many things. The site factor can be used to explain the agricultural processes and productions. In Italy, they are mainly commercial and industrial, shown by the expensive products, and in Benin, they are mainly subsistence with a few cash crops. The situation factor shows how the country and the processes there are related to the external world in other countries, which can be seen by the exported foods, goods, and then the tourism in Italy and the manufacturing in Benin. Now we'll move on to agriculture and industry, where Italy has many crops which were listed before, but I'll also add wine, olive products, and cheese into that. Many animals there that are commonly farmed are cattle, pigs, goats, sheep, and chickens. Italy also has a bunch of natural resources, such as natural gases and natural stones such as granite and marble. These need to be mined and collected from the ground. Below is a picture of a farm in Italy, which is very high quality compared to the low-tech farms in Benin, which can be shown on the right. Now, some crops that are grown in Benin are yams, corn, beans, and they also have many cash crops that are produced, such as cotton and palm oils. Animals there are similar to Italy, but also include turkeys, ducks, guinea fowl, and more. They have some natural resources. Many of them are underground, such as limestone, iron ore, and phosphates. These resources are either mined or farmed while referring to the crop. Now moving on more into the economy of both countries. We'll start with Italy, which has the main economy sectors in terms of GDP or services and industry. The service industry makes up around 60% of Italy's total GDP. Some more stats to add to this are Italy is the 3rd wealthiest country in the EU and the 8th largest economy in the world. The GDP is around $2.7 trillion. The chart below shows where the GDP is located from and what industries. Service being the largest, industry being the next, and then agriculture being the smallest. Benin has a large amount of the GDP in their service industry as well, which is around 45%, but it also has 25% of the GDP in agriculture, which is relatively high compared to Italy and other HDC countries. This is another reason why they are an LDC country, because they rely a lot on agriculture. Some other stats is that their fishing industry is large, and their manufacturing is the third largest industry they have. The GDP was 19.67 billion in 2023. Now onto some more urban models and cities. Some of Italy's major cities include Rome, Milan, and Naples, each with populations ranging from 1.5 to 3 million. Italy does not have a specific urban model, as Rome and many of the other cities listed are older than many of these models that were created, and these cities have kind of stayed the same and not really changed throughout time. These cities were also not designed for car transportation, as they were not invented back then. Now for Benin, some of their major cities include Cotonou, which has a population around 800,000, which is the largest in Benin. This city could be considered a primate city, as it is much larger than the other largest cities in the country. Now the capital of Benin, Porto Novo, follows a pattern similar to that of an African city model. It has African and French influences, with a colonial and normal central business district, which is a key factor of the African city model. Now for some more information about the cities, we can go on to urban services such as public transportation provided. Now Italy has many high-speed trains, and one that can travel from Rome to Milan in 3 hours. The buses are also a good way to travel around the country. A European driving license is accepted in Italy, making it easier to drive between countries if you were to go to Europe and you had the European Union driving license. Now on to Benin. The public busing is available, but is not always reliable or safe. There is also a motorcycle taxi service throughout many cities, but it can be dangerous to use after certain times and during the night. Public transportation is not the best option in Benin. Below both countries is a map showing the routes available throughout the countries. Now moving on to religion, culture, and immigration. Italy's immigration history mainly consists of Italians emigrating to the Americas, but also many Africans and Eastern Europeans moved into Italy. The language is mainly spoken there is Italy, but there are some dialects throughout the other areas of Italy. The family this is in is Indo-European. The religion is 79.3% Roman Catholic. In Benin, the migration history starts during the Dahomey Kingdom, where there was a lot of movement throughout Africa. This then goes into the slave trade, where many people were moved and taken away. After that, the movement inside the area of Africans is. The language spoken there is mainly French, but there are some mixed dialects in there. This is Indo-European and Niger-Congo. Now moving on to the boundaries, both physical and cultural. Italy's physical boundaries are the Italian Alps to the north, and the Mediterranean Sea surrounding the peninsula. The cultural boundaries are split into north, central, and south for Italy. Some dialects are used in the islands, with German sometimes spoken in the northern parts. It is just a cultural divide, mainly central, north, and south. And then for Benin, the physical boundaries include the Niger River to the north and the Atlantic Ocean to the south. There are also some lowlands to the west. The cultural boundaries there are the largest religious divide from the north and south. The south is known to be Christian and animists, while the north is known to be Islamic. To conclude this UN report on Italy and Benin, we must finally look at the lower developed country versus higher developed country argument. Most of the slides here do go over that on their own, but I will summarize it here. A main reason Benin is a lower developed country is because it was once a colony of France, which countries that were previously colonies typically take longer to develop. Benin is also lower on the demographic transition model, around stage 2. Benin also has a very young population and a total fertility rate around 4.9 births per woman, which is very high and is common in lower developed countries. While comparing this to Italy, Italy has a total fertility rate of 1.24 and a stage 4 on the demographic transition model. Benin also has a life expectancy around 60 years, which is relatively young compared to Italy's 83. Then the main other topic is economy, agriculture, and things in that area. Italy, it is mainly a service-based sector with some exports. It is the third wealthiest country, so it is obviously highly developed. But Benin, they don't really have a very high GDP, which is around 20 billion. This is low compared to Italy's GDP of $2.17 trillion.